Of the hundreds of projects I worked on in my 41 years with the city, the Ruby's Diner project was probably my favorite one. I was the senior construction inspector for the project. The entire team on the project was excellent. The project manager was my boss, Jack Miller, who had previously been the construction manager of the new pier a few years earlier. The contractor was Varkle Construction, and they were very good. The representatives from Ruby's, Doug Kavanaugh and Ralph Cosmides, were hands-on for the entire project, and they were also the owners of the entire Ruby's chain. The architect for the project had previously designed the Central Library expansion and would later design Lifeguard Tower 0 on the pier. He once told me that the octagon shape of the building was inspired by the 1930s era Sunshine Cafe at the end of the pier. The red roof was inspired by the red roof on the casino in Avalon. The city, however, wanted the roof to be blue. The Ruby's owners insisted on the red roof, and in the end, that's what we got. Everyone involved with the project knew from the very beginning that they were working on a landmark, and the level of cooperation was just exceptional. For me, getting to spend every day for over 6 months working at the end of the pier wasn't too bad either. Constructing a building on a concrete pier that is 30 feet above the water has many challenges. You can't dig footings or trenches, so the building had to be bolted down to the pier deck, and all of the utility runs were complicated. But the contractor did a great job working all of this out, and the project finished on time. The day the video was filmed was interesting. I was told that the film crew would have a script for me and that all I had to do was show up. Well, when I got there, there was no script. I had to wing it going through the project, and I just walked around pointing things out and saying things that off the top of my head. And I thought it was going to end up being terrible, but after all the editing, it ended up being quite good. In this video, you get to see a much younger me giving a tour through my favorite project, Ruby's Diner. Now enjoy this episode of FlasHBack.
Today we're at the Huntington Beach Municipal Pier. This area is really the focal point for many tourists and locals alike. We're drawn here for the beauty, for the entertainment, and for the food. It seems like there's always been a cafe at the end of the pier. In the 1930s, it was the Sunshine Room. In the 1980s, it was the End Cafe. Now a brand new restaurant is opening its doors. It's the Ruby's Surf City Diner. This is actually a city building constructed under the supervision of the engineering department, and it's being leased to Ruby's. Bob Eichblatt is the city engineer and head of the engineering division. Bob, this has been a very high-profile public project for the city of Huntington Beach. In fact, it's so complex that it led to the development of a brand new project team approach. Tell us about this new way of getting things done.
Well, we've had a lot of major projects in recent years, and many of them were very complex, and we discovered that communications was a problem between all the different departments involved in the project. Things are tough enough without communication breakdowns, and so all the departments got together and developed a new plan that was a team approach. This isn't really magic. Other places do this kind of thing, but what we decided to do was put together a project team for each major project from now on, with specialists from each of the departments, the architect involved, the mechanical designers involved, and then ultimately the contractor that comes on board. We also bring in the construction managers at the right time so that there are no surprises, and we start laying out the groundwork for the project well in advance of construction, so that by the time the plans are complete, they are as flawless as we as a team can conceive of. And all the needs of all the departments and all the other entities are met ahead of time.
So what are the ultimate goals of this project team approach?
Well, hopefully if you've had a project team like this throughout the length of the project, you'll achieve certain goals that maybe you couldn't achieve completely with the old-fashioned way. things like quality. Hopefully you optimize the quality of the project at the least expensive cost to the project. An optimization of all the things you'd want to achieve, cost effectiveness. Secondly, you follow all the codes and all the regulations to the utmost of everybody's ability now that everybody on the team that's involved can have input into all of this. You optimize the quality of the plans before you go out to bid so you have as few change orders and as few delays as possible. With Ruby's in particular, we had to deal with the utilities that go in the trench that are in the pier deck itself, and who was to inspect that, whether it was going to be Public Works or the building department, and what regulations would follow. And ultimately the building department decreed the pier to be a street for regulation purposes so that the utilities could be inspected by the Public Works Director and fall into normal APWA regulations rather than UBC. So things get really complex.
Jack Miller has been on this project from the start. He's worked for the city for 35 years and is the construction manager. Jack, aesthetically, what look were you striving for on this project?
I think the Pier Design Committee and actually the community was looking for a look for the pier and for the buildings that maintain kind of the historical look of our whole pier and our whole buildings. This building was based kind of on the geometric designs of the restaurant that built in 1933, which was the Sunshine Cafe, and it kind of picked up on that theme, along with the rest of the buildings will also pick up on the theme of the buildings that were on the pier originally.
As Senior Public Works Inspector, Dwayne Wentworth has been at the job site every day during construction. Dwayne, what have your responsibilities been on this project?
Basically, I operate as a Public Works Department's field representative on the project. I'm here every day. I keep detailed records of the project, what's going on, the status of it, and provide communication back to City Hall with the various staff people as to the daily occurrences and happenings out here on the project. If you want, come on inside. I'll take you on a tour.
Great. Well, this looks like the main dining room.
Yes, it is. This is the main entrance and the main downstairs dining room. And as you can see, the decor of the building is 1940s diner look. It's got some interesting details, such as the glass bubble machines and the surfboard, and a pretty incredible view.
Wow, this is a pretty spectacular room.
Yes, this is the upstairs dining room, and its most dramatic feature is its view. You get a good view of the coast up and down on both sides, plus a complete panoramic view of the ocean, including Catalina and boats and the offshore rigs and anything else you'd want to look at out there. We do have another room up here that's very interesting. Come on, I'll show you.
Great. Wow, what's this room?
This is the mechanical room, and all of the equipment you see in here, which is all the heating and cooling, refrigeration units, all the ductwork that goes with it, is the stuff that normally on a normal restaurant would be sitting on the roof. And in this restaurant, since we wanted to maintain a clean architectural style on the outside, we created this room, which is basically an outside atmosphere room inside. It's open to the outside through louvers on 3 sides of it, so we could put all of this normally exterior equipment inside the building and hide it.
What a fun place. I can't wait to sit down and have my first burger. This building is one of about 177 buildings that the city owns, and the engineering division is looking forward to building 4 new buildings for this area. There's going to be a new lifeguard tower, new restrooms, a new bait and tackle shop, and a new snack shop. So look for more exciting changes to come.